my next guest is around the corner, and I would like to welcome on Francine Jackson, staff astronomer with the Lad Observatory at Brown University, among many hats that you wear.
Yes, thank you.
But I appreciate your coming in because pretty much one of the big news stories right now is the eclipse on Monday.
Oh, we are so thrilled and very happy that, first of all, that you did allow me to come today, and also that there's so much publicity being happening to it. We're really very thrilled about it. In fact, in honor of that, I brought you a present.
My very own glasses. This is one of the questions I had to you, among many, of what glasses should you be getting? Do you need here in Rhode Island?
Well, first of all, what do you see?
Nothing.
Good. That tells you that those glasses are approved. The only thing that you can see is the sun. So if we ever have the sun around, just look outside, and that's the only thing you should see. If there's anything else, throw them away. They're not really that good.
Should they have this warning, as I'm looking at them here, it says safe for direct solar viewing. Should they have some sort of indication on them
Yes.
that they are approved?
Yes, there should be, or you should have gotten them from an approved organization.
And how important, let's talk a little bit, because there's the path of which the solar eclipse, and we've all seen the maps of it and how it's cutting across the state, and that's where everybody's going. Is there a difference between, clearly, or I'm going to have to ask you, between seeing it here in Rhode Island from a safety standpoint, from seeing it here in Rhode Island on that partial level to that path of totality in the rest of the country? Is there a difference?
Only for that 2.5 minute time frame when, when the sun will be eclipsed. Other than that, as the moon is traveling in front of the sun, regardless of where it is, we do have to cover our eyes. We do have to make sure that we are protected. Other than that, without that 2.5 minutes, then we all have to wear those or have some kind of protection or look through a specialized telescope that allows you to safely look. We're very, very concerned that a lot of people will just kind of look up and say, oh, nice. You have to cover your eyes.
Why is it so dangerous?
The sun is so bright, and unfortunately those ultraviolet rays that it has just goes, they just go piercing right through, right into your eye, and they could, quite honestly, burn you. And sometimes you're very lucky that your sight can come back within a couple days, but most of the time it is total impairment.
So how big of an event, the astronomy world, gearing up for this, in terms of calendar years, put it on sort of a spectrum, just how big of an event this is?
Well, solar eclipses, total solar eclipses, do take place about every year and a half. But the last time we had one as good as this in the United States was in the 1920s. So for us to be able to see something as incredible as this, that's really something. Remember, the path is going to go through 14 states. Also, I have some friends who are going on a cruise even. It'll continue into the Atlantic. So it will be something very special. It's something that doesn't happen very often. Again, it hasn't happened in almost a century. And just the fact that we're going to see one of what we consider one of nature's most beautiful phenomena is just incredible. The fact that so many people will be able to see it, they're figuring that probably about 100 million people at minimum will be within that path of totality enjoying the beauty of this eclipse.
So is there this concern, you see it in the press, they're like, there's going to be traffic jams, there's going to be crowds. Again, we've seen that swath of where that path is going. Do you expect in that area there really will be multitudes of people? Because, here we're on Rhode Island, it seems far away, but even there's places, and as I said, just a day away that folks can just drive towards it. There are going to be that many people flocking to this.
One of the professors from Rice University has equated it to America's Woodstock. You probably don't remember, but I recall. I do recall, yes, the traffic was backed up for days. And so this is why a lot of people are going earlier. They're making sure they've got a good place to stay. And they don't want to get into that. You don't really want to be in the middle of a traffic jam while this beautiful thing is happening to you.
Now, I know you're leaving Friday and it's taking place on Monday. Where exactly will you be?
I'll be in Jackson, Wyoming. So I've never been to Wyoming, so it is kind of not a thrill, but it's just exciting to actually know that we can go someplace where we've never been before, and also enjoy whatever's around it too.
Is there certain advantages to being someplace, maybe in the, I don't want to say middle of nowhere, but to be in a more rural, I've been to Jackson, it's a lovely area, but to be someplace along that path where there's nothing around it, are there advantages to being in a rural area versus a more suburban or urban one?
Probably because you hope that there won't be as many people.
Just from a
Maybe you
people's
will be able
standpoint.
to drive a couple miles without being at a standstill. I know one of the other persons at Brown was telling me one time that he, not even for an eclipse, but some of the roads that will be near, he had a 30-hour traffic jam. And he doesn't, he kind of scared me, actually, that I really don't feel like doing that. I want to be exactly where I need to be.
So how, this is kind of a universal event that kind of energizes people because everyone can appreciate it. Does an astronomer watch it differently than the average person as someone who's not very scientifically inclined? But is that really one of the benefits of this event, is that everyone can take part if they're properly prepared?
Yes. I think for us, we probably have more excitement than you do, because quite honestly, we've been looking forward to this for like 5 years, since one of the last major astronomical events occurred. So we've been kind of counting by years. Now we're counting by days. Over the weekend, we'll be counting by minutes. So yes, it is something very exciting, something that we're very glad is happening, and also, quite honestly, something that everybody or many people seem to at least have a feeling of what's happening to it. And that doesn't happen very often. For instance, at this time, there's a meteor shower that's happening, all right, but a total solar eclipse. You can see meteors all the time. An eclipse like this, no. This is something that, quite honestly, if you want to stick around here in the United States, we are lucky. There will be another one coming up in just under 7 years. But do you want to wait 7 years to see it, or do you want to see this one? And a lot of people are looking forward to seeing this one.
So what's your recommendation? Again, if we're here in Rhode Island, we're not in that path. People are going about their work days, you're going out and getting lunch. If they don't have their glasses, how dark will it get? And as you said, are you just not supposed to look up?
Believe it or not, because there'll still be about 30% of the sun exposed, it won't be that dark. It may look like just a very, very early twilight, but it won't really be that significant. If you don't know what's happening, you might not realize anything is happening. However, if you do, then probably unconsciously you're going to be looking for something.
Now, have I seen advice, don't try and take a picture of it? It's kind of like you can, but, well, during totality, there'll be, millions of pictures being taken. But, a lot of it is, first of all, if you want to take a picture, you're probably just going to unconsciously look up. Yep.
Which we don't want you to do. And you can take a picture if you know that it's happening, but exposure time will have to be in the thousandths of a second.
So it's going to be really kind of, I'm sure, high quality cameras, folks who are really anticipating this, professional photographers.
That is correct. Yes, and believe me, you'll see probably more pictures than you'll ever want to see than the ones following it. So you don't really have to take them on your own. People will be taking them throughout that whole path of totality.
But will the pictures do it justice?
Nothing ever does it justice. That's why hopefully you'll be prepared for 2024 next time it comes, because it'll be closer here. In fact, if you stay here, you'll only have 90% of the sun. So you may as well just go a couple of 100 miles and keep those.
Keep the glasses.
Yes, absolutely.
Keep the glasses. So question for you, does weather have an impact?
Oh, absolutely. If it's cloudy, if it's a day such as we're having right here, you may as well just stay in your office and eat lunch. That's one of the big things that naturally we going to the path have to worry about. In fact, one of the persons that I'll be with has actually made a plan of escape in case the places that we're at are starting to get cloudy. They're actually, carving other places.
Trying to get out.
Yes.
I'm assuming that the astronomers are really vigilant. They're kind of real-time weather updates. Mondays
Yes.
looking like this. it's looking like this here, but it's looking like this here.
We've been watching the weather in Wyoming for the past month, making sure that it'll be at least hopefully relatively clear, as have most of my friends that are going to various other parts on that path. So yes, without clear skies, we just have to wait to watch the simulcast from NASA, just as everybody else from here will have to do.
And what do you think will be sort of the post-game recap? It happens, do you just get your little chair and kind of move on? I mean, what are the discussions after? Wow, was that such a great eclipse? I mean, sort of, the pictures clearly will be sort of, I'm sure, a focal point. But,
yes.
What will we be hearing from experts after it actually happens?
Right now, it's mainly just the fact that it will be happening. It's not as scientifically necessary as it has before, such as in 1919, when it was used to confirm Albert Einstein's theory of relativity, or in 1868, when suddenly astronomers found a different spectral line that they hadn't seen before, so they called it after the sun Helios, not realizing that helium, which is the second most abundant element in our universe, was present here. It was first found on the sun. We don't have to worry about it as a political entity, as some places do. It's actually stopped wars. In 1806, it stopped for a while the motion of the United States in its westward push. It's just there's been
so many historically significant things associated with it.
Yes,
you just you hate to say it, you're maybe it's historical because it's happening, but as you said, no sort of auxiliary.
Not as much. There will be people, of course, that will be doing some experiments. Of course, some people will say, "Gee, I wonder how Einstein did it, so let me try."
To replicate.
There will be people who will be, doing some scientific work, but for the most part, these days, it's mainly just observing, looking up, and enjoying what we're seeing.
They were waiting, as you said, years to see it happen. Now, event taking place at LAD, a bunch of the astronomers are going to the path of totality, but the LAD Observatory is actually having an event that day, yes?
Not exactly at LAD. It will be on the brown green.
Okay.
Because this isn't something that we're looking at telescope-wise, except the very safe hydrogen-filtered telescopes. So there will be people on the green at Brown. The observatory in Scituate, Seagrave Observatory on Peak Toad Road. Even Roger Williams Park Museum of Natural History will have people in front of their building. And actually, I'm finding a couple libraries are really looking forward to having people come and just enjoy. So if you don't want to be alone, just eating a sandwich in your backyard, if you want to be with other people to enjoy it, there are several places. Most of them will start about 1 o'clock, and it will continue on until the last contact leaves about 4. So if you really want to see it, they're either stay home or come to some of the many places that will be having a lot of people safely observing.
No, I think I'm always one of those people who likes to watch people watching things.
Uh-huh.
I kind of imagine it might have that very sci-fi quality with a lot of people with their glasses just
yes.
looking up. That's the picture I want, is the picture of everyone standing around looking up at the sky.
Then you better go to a Brown or a lot of these places, because they will be handing them out, so that there will be people that in addition to those will have other safe ways of doing it. But this is, if you will, the cheapest, because we're handing them out.
Yeah, where can folks get these? I'll tell you, someone had given me a pair in the neighborhood, and everyone was like, "Oh, where'd you get them?" You said handing them out. Where can folks get these glasses?
Right now, they're pretty sparse. People, a lot of places that we're selling them are really, have been totally sold out, but the observatory in Scituate, the Brown Green, all these places that will be having these.
They'll be handing them out.
They'll be handing them out, yes. Right now, unfortunately, just to go out and get some would be very, very difficult.
So, okay, if you want to see the eclipse and you're concerned about having the proper eyewear, you heard it here. Places to go are places where people are gathering around to talk about this. So I don't want to get so ahead of my skis. here we are, 2017, 2024. Do we know when the next one will be?
Here in the United States?
Yes.
No, that'll be way beyond. That will be many, many years. There will be what's called an annular eclipse in 2023 when the sun is just too close, the moon is too far, so you don't get the entire blockage. You don't get the full advantage and that gorgeous corona, that beautiful atmosphere. What you have is the moon passing directly in front of the sun, but leaving kind of a circle or annulus ring around the moon. That, even though it's a beautiful sight, you can never take your glasses off to look. But that'll be in 2023. So you have something else to look
I'm going to hold
to.
on to these, but woo! Spoken too soon. I'm not going to hold on to them. Any concerns with pets?
Not really. You could always give them one of those.
Should you make... I have a picture I'll show you after of showing my dog a pair of these glasses that he was like, that looks very yummy. The animals inside, any concerns about dogs, cats being outside and...
Not really, because they don't really, look up and enjoy.
Well, they heard all the talk about it.
Oh,
they
yes.
wanted to see for themselves. So
my last slide, in fact, in the program that I give does have a dog with these glasses on, just to remind you that if they're really involved, to look up. But even, just keep them inside for a couple hours if you're really worried about it. But how often do dogs look up and enjoy the sky anyway?
They really don't. Oh, howling, bang at the moon on the top, so that's a little different. Any other implications of a solar eclipse, from environmental or tidal? Does it have any other impact on the Earth than just being a visual up there in the atmosphere?
Not really, because it's just a matter of the moon passing around the Earth as it does, just getting aligned with the sun as it does every so often. And it's just basically nature giving us a free show while just continuing on its merry way.
Well, I appreciate your taking the time to come in because everyone is just talking about this. Wanted to get an expert's take on it. Is there anything that we missed in sort of this overview of, again, the big event on Monday?
I hope that everybody, if it's clear, will go outside with their safety glasses, yes, and enjoy the beauty of the sky.
Well, Francine, I appreciate your coming in today. I wish you a great trip out to Wyoming.
Thank you.
Hopefully we'll go on later on your Facebook page and maybe see just, again, those fun pictures of the event itself. So the big solar eclipse of 2017. Thank you for coming in to talk with us.
Thank you very much.